start this book. I don't have it in my hand.
This is a much better reaction to the start of all of the other live shows.
Now I know what you mean by like it develops. Like
It's
wait.
amazing.
Yes.
So while we wait, see if anyone gets it. How are you both?
Okay, I think I'm still warm. I've just had a shower, but I feel refreshed. But I've still got a really crappy little fan beside me, just giving me some kind of
I'm not
fanage. But
just about recovering. My voice is somewhere, exists somewhere.
It exists.
At least you can talk. That is the main thing.
Yes.
I had visions on something else coming up and us having to postpone this again. And I was like, we can't postpone again. Please.
No.
Please, nothing come
We've
up this
still
time.
We've still got to read book 2 and fit in a live show.
I have literally got book 2 behind Name of All Things to pick up, and do not out me about the thing that I'm still reading. But I really need to be good. Right. I really look. She's there.
I literally have 5 books on the go at the moment. 3 are buddy reads, one of which ends tomorrow. But once I finish my 2 non-buddy read books, I'm going to start Clockwork Prince because I'm very excited because I love this series so much.
But we also do have a buddy read that starts Saturday.
We do, but it's fine. I'm fine with buddy reads. It's just non-buddy read books. I need to finish those before I start another non-buddy read book. Yeah, so that's my aim.
I just didn't want to start the second one before this live show and then accidentally be like,
Same. Same. And like the thing is, because it's been a good few years since I last read these, so even though I know everything that happens, I'm like, it's been long enough that I can easily now separate this one from the other 2. Because this is fresh in my mind and I've written notes and everything, but I was like, I don't want to risk starting Clockwork Prince before this live show because it's hard enough for me to not say spoilers as it is.
I was the same when I was like, should I attempt it and then like try and separate it in my head, but I can't. Life in general, so this would not work really.
Hello
there.
Hello Liam, haven't read this, but hi. Well, please, as much as I would love you to be here, please don't stay just in case of spoilers.
You're not bothered about spoilers, stay for the chat. But...
yeah, if you don't care about spoilers, then feel free to stay. Hello. So comments as well as you two, what ratings did you give this one?
2 stars.
Liar. Don't lie to me.
5 stars, and it's making me want to reevaluate the rest of the books in some way, because I couldn't genuinely, like, when I look at my core pal, sometimes there's a book that gives me 10 across the board vibes, and I struggle to not give this 10s for everything. So I was just like, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna be that bitch that just gives him 10s across the board. Because
do you know what? There's only 4 books that have ever got 5 books that have only ever got 10s all across the board. 4 of which are Ali Hazelwood, and 1 is If This Gets Out. They're the only ones that have ever got all 10s. But like this one, I think if I was to check my core pile, I think this one does get slightly higher than the first 5 more instruments, because I just, even though I'm not a massive fan of historical like fantasy, I just love them.
I forgot this was set beforehand until it started giving hints, and I'm just like, oh, this is just being set up like this. Oh, it's before. Oh, okay, that's not happened yet. All right, okay, we're here. That's fine. Okay, I like it.
I'm not gonna swear on the live, but Lisa knows what I mean when I say 5. I gave it 5 stars.
Honestly,
this is a reread. Second time I've read it. I gave it 5 stars the first time. Like, I just immediately, like 100% for me, I think it's a much better series than the Mortal Instruments. Don't get me wrong, still really like the Mortal Instruments series, but these are like, and I think it's a historical aspect for me.
It's the
See, for
characters for
me,
me.
yeah, I was going to say the same, Lisa. For me, it's the characters because
Characters
I
as
feel like
well.
they're much more fleshed out characters. And even though they're young, they're not whiny like Clary.
Oh my god,
Oh,
yeah.
that's the thing.
Harry
Yeah,
and Jace just annoy me so much. I'm like, stop whining, stop
No, not
whinging.
Jace.
Like,
Not
please.
Jace.
yeah. No, to be fair,
Don't dish Jace.
Jace did annoy me as well, but Clara was like I wanted to bash her head against the wall multiple times. I don't think that's appropriate, but um,
Might knock some sense into her.
probably she'd still lose her Steely.
Oh yeah.
I see how it is. I mean, you're welcome to stay, Liam. I just don't want you to be spoilt for anything if you are planning on reading them. Hello, so excited to talk about Jem. Jem is my world.
Oh.
He is like, to be fair, he was my number one book boyfriend until I read Love Hypothesis. So now he's like number 2.
And he's a child. I had to correct myself in the vlogs because I was like, not vlogs. When it was in the tag video, there was like your book boyfriend, and I was like, oh maybe we'll. I'm like, oh I can't because he's a teenager, and
I
I'm
mean,
34 years old.
I was like very much younger the first time I read it, so it's fine. I feel
I
okay
can't do
with
that
it.
now. I can't do
Yeah,
that now.
you can't. It's
I'm
your first time
35. I was
reading
like,
it.
oh, I know. I was like, oh yeah, Will. No, oh, absolutely not. Let's choose someone else, someone of age that's closer to mine. So
Which
like,
is literally just Henry.
Yeah.
Joshua Darling.
Oh, that's what Darling
Wrong
too.
book, wrong book. I'm so excited. I gave this 5 stars.
Yes.
Don't worry, I'm just popping in. If I do read this series, I won't remember what you're saying now anyway. That is fair.
Fine.
Hello. This may be an unpopular opinion. I think I like the series more than the original series. Not an unpopular
No,
opinion.
not
I actually think it would be the opposite that would be the unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know many people that prefer Mortal Instruments to this series. This is not
No.
my favourite series. My favourite series is The Dark Artifices, but
I
this is
remember
my
you saying
second
this.
favourite. Very close second. Like, this used to be my favourite until the Blackthorns walked into my life and didn't leave. I loved this book and it was very nearly a 5 stars. I'm intrigued to see why it didn't hit the 5-star. Oh, hi, just popping in to say hi. Hello, Ash.
Hi.
Gave this one a very high 4 stars. Haven't read this series in years and it was so much better than I remember. Yes.
You're immediately
Kind of-
immersed into the story, though, aren't
Yeah.
you? Like,
Mhm.
no, like, I know that some people, like, some books can rush things, and I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm contradicting myself. I don't like it when things seem rushed and like it because and underdeveloped. But this is fast paced, but in a way that you still get to know the characters, you still get to know the story, and the backstory is still weaved into it, and but it's fast paced, but it's not rushed. But you never feel like there's a dull moment, and you're like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? And I didn't want to throw the book against the wall, which is fun.
I also
And
like the
I
fact
should.
that these books and one of the other series are like loosely based off Charles Dickens. This one was A Tale
Yeah.
of Two Cities, and one of them's Great Expectations. I believe it's
Oh
the last.
really?
I believe it's the Last Hours series. They're sort of loosely
Yeah.
based, and I'm a massive Dickens fan, so I think that's another reason why these are like
Oh.
I prefer these more than the Mortal Instrument books. And I just feel like she's come on more as a writer with these.
Yeah, definitely. Which is weird because she actually wrote these in between the different,
Yeah.
like, these were released. I think this one was released between books 2 and 3, I think, or 3 and 4.
Yeah,
So
2010.
she sort of like was writing these in between, and it's so weird how like you can really see the difference in the writing between the two series. But obviously she wouldn't have been able to drastically change her writing in the Mortal Instruments because it just wouldn't have fit with that series.
It would have been too jarring to do
Yeah.
that.
I just loved the British accents as well on the audio. I don't know why, but just like the way they spoke, it just. And then here's me saying I don't like historical. Well, that's how they talk in historical.
Yeah.
But I don't know what about general historical I don't like because it seems to be that and put fantasy with it.
Yeah.
Give me any fantasy vibes, but put it in a historical setting, and I'm down. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand what it is about that connection, about that meld of like genres and ways of writing, but she definitely, it feels like this was her second series, not in between. They should written it in between. It felt like that was a debut series. It was okay, but then she like leveled up,
Hmm.
Yeah.
which was
Also, be careful in the comments not to say anything about future books. Lisa, don't look at the don't look at the comments. I'm going to skip over comments that might have slightly spoilery things for future books because I don't want spoilers.
So I'm gonna click onto the private chat then, so I don't
Yeah.
accidentally look at something.
Yeah.
I've just full screen it, so I can't see any of the comments.
Kind of wish, or at least wonder, how differently I would view the series or the world as a whole if these 3 books had been released first. Yeah, and I know quite a few people. I think Liv's one who actually read this series completely first. I could be wrong. She's not here to correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure she did. I read all of the Mortal Instruments first, and then read this, and now I know the importance of reading in a certain order.
These were my
Which is why we're doing this way.
These were my 2020 lockdown reads.
Oh my god,
I love that.
that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
I
I
need
do
these in
wonder
hand.
if these would have done as well as they did if this series had been released first, because it's a very different feel, and it's even though it's still YA, I think it's got a bit of an older feel to it. They seem a lot more mature, apart
Yeah.
from Will. We're not going to talk about Will yet because he's not mature.
I think he's just broody. He's
I
just
love him.
I don't think he's immature. I think he's just very sarcastic, very dry, and he's probably unfortunately the kind of guy that I would fall for in real life, because like I'm like, I know you like me, but you're pulling away from me. I'm just gonna chase you anyway. Like I want to be with you anyway. That's my toxic trait.
Honestly, while I do love the other series, I feel historical fiction is her wheelhouse. Love the Infernal Devices in the Last Hour series, definitely. All that, like, I mean, as much as I love the more modern ones, she just has this way of writing this, and I'm really hoping that her series that she's going to be bringing out that doesn't link to Shadowhunters at all has more of a Infernal Devices feel, and maybe like set in that sort of time, because I don't think we've like know much about that book yet, but I hope that it does have like this sort of feel to it, because I just love it so much.
Because there's still like
No.
there's still magic in like supernatural, and it's not necessarily just magic, because magic sounds like spells and stuff, but it's like there's a supernatural feel.
Well, Magnus is in it. There's
Yeah,
still warlocks,
true.
so there's still
There's like a
magic.
supernatural, like paranormal feel. It's more like paranormal, supernatural than just pure magic,
Yeah.
but it's a blend of that. And the fact that she can do so many different characters and so many different personalities, and like Magnus is a character that is literally grown, like is lived through these years, but he's a kind of character that still translates like in the modern day setting and in this setting when you're meeting him. I'm just like, how? Bitch, how?
I mean,
How is that
one
possible?
note I did write down, which is from page 249, so I'm skipping ahead, but it's relevant, is Magnus's fave combination being black hair and blue eyes a century before he meets Alec. I just love
Yeah.
I just love everything about that.
Yeah.
I just liked how we saw a different side of Magnus in this. That
Yeah.
obviously, like, if you've read the Mortal Instruments special, like, okay, well, Magnus and Alec, like, end game type thing, but then you sort of see this like previous side to what he was like before.
And
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting when we get to the Magnus Bane the Bane Chronicles, because some of those stories are set even earlier, so you get to really see his life and see him through different points in his life, not just in the Infernal Devices and in the Mortal Instruments. You get to see all parts of his life, so up until like the Mortal Instruments point. So I'm looking forward to getting to that one so that everyone can like experience just Magnus. A whole book about Magnus.
I've read the Bane Chronicles, and I must say,
So good.
I was still behind on that. I haven't read it. I feel like this is gonna be like a
We're
an
getting to it.
experience.
to be fair though,
We'll get to it.
I've only read Mortal Instruments, this one. I've read Bane Chronicles, I've read Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy and the Codexy thing, but I haven't read Dark Artifices. I've read the books 1 and 2 out of 3 of the Dark Artifices, but I haven't read any of the Last Hours. So I've
sorry.
still got
You've read the first 2. You stopped after the second Dark Artifices book. That is not a point to stop at.
Don't like. I know. I know.
Anyway, let's move on from that before I accidentally spoil something. Hi, Holly. I agree. The characters in this series really shine through, I think, so much more because Claire didn't have to go into so much world building, establishing the power system or exposition. I will say this is another thing that I've written notes down. Clearly, I'm not doing my notes in order today, but I really liked how we got to learn about the Accords, but in a not an info dump way.
Yeah.
Because obviously she's reading the codex and she's learning, so we're learning with her. Yeah. But it doesn't give us like the whole thing. It just gives us the basics of what we need, and then we know she's gonna carry on reading it. And I really liked that because like it means we learn about the Accords because they're mentioned in Mortal Instruments.
Yeah.
But we don't really know what they are.
We just know that they're an alliance between I would say the underworld and the downworlders and the Shadowhunters. You know, it's a tentative alliance, but we don't know much of anything else. So that bit was fun to sort of see. Like, and again, it was still very early on, and it was still like she was curious about the world that she'd been thrust into unknowingly. But yeah, I bloody loved her. Bloody loved her.
4 stars, very close to being a 5-star. Loved the audio too. Definitely loved this more than TMI. Yeah, the audio for this was really good.
It really annoyed me.
Did you not like it? See, I like having the physical book with the audio because obviously I tab as well.
See, I hadn't planned to listen to the audio, but then obviously because I thought the live show was going to be like quite quick, and then I was like, damn, I haven't read it. I got the audio from the library, but I just found the audiobook narrator really annoying. Like she yelled words, and I just found it really annoying.
I had mine sped up where I was reading along, so maybe I didn't register that.
No, maybe not.
Because I needed to speed it up because I physically read a lot quicker than what they were talking, so I was like, speed it up.
I haven't got an audio on the library for book 2, so I don't have a choice. So I'll read it with.
I have it on Audible, so I can give you my Audible
if
once I've listened to it.
To be yelled at.
Yeah, well, I think is it the same people for the second book? I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. But I'm excited. Ash has probably gone by now. Actually, do love the series, but now I have to go to my drama group. So bye, miss you, love you guys. If I rated based purely off enjoyment, it would have been 5, but it just missed the mark for me, plot and characters wise, because I feel like Cassie Clare was still kind of finding her footing. That is fair. That is fair. And I do feel like Will is very much Jace, just in an older time. They are very much the same character in a different format.
Yeah.
I haven't read Dark Artifices yet. I recently just read Lost Book of the White, book 2 in the Eldest Curse series for the first time, so I'm kind of taking a break before Dark Artifices. That is fair. I'm excited to get to the Eldest Curses as well.
Yeah, I haven't read that
because I've Lost Book of the White and Chain of Iron are the only 2 books that I've only ever read once by Cassandra Clare. So I'm excited to get to them and reread them. Really like how this book is action-packed right from the start. I didn't rate 5 stars as I felt the pacing was a little slower in the middle of the book, but still really enjoyed it. You hit the nail on the head there. Yeah.
I don't know what book you all read. It's 5 stars.
For some reason, I can stand Will way more than Jace. No offense to any Jace fans. No, he is a lot more bearable than Jace in the beginning. Like,
I love how you say I love Jace. Am I going to hate him at some point?
No, I mean, if you look at Will at this first book and Jace at the first book.
Oh, right, okay. I thought you meant...
oh, no, don't worry.
I thought you were like, at one point, I'm going to hate Will. I'm like,
no.
I mean, part of me hates him at the end of this book. because of what he says to Tessa.
Oh, but that's him
Like,
shielding his heart in it. That's him
I know.
being.
I have to try and remember that, you know, he's a brooding dark soul.
Yeah. Oh, you want to slap around the head?
Can't wait for Magnus's book. Glad I wasn't the only one, Lottie. I think because the action started straight away, I wanted it to continue the whole book. Yeah, I think if it had maybe started off a bit slower and then we got the action, it wouldn't have been as bad. But it just sort of like threw you in and then slowed down a
I
bit.
forgot how quick it got. How quick at the beginning, like she was all of a sudden
Yeah.
like whipped away by the witchy, whatever the women they
Yeah.
can't remember their names now.
I was halfway through Lady Midnight when you announced the read along, so I put it down for now. Oh. Well, I mean, I'm glad that you are looking forward to getting back to Lady Midnight, I hope. I hope. Also like Tessa way more than Clary. I think Claire development, the whole fish out of water type character, way better. Oh, definitely. Tessa is a much better character than Clary. 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
I
Like,
absolutely adore Tessa's character. She's amazing.
despite the fact that it's really weird because both females were like thrust into a world of the unknown, but she seemed to deal with it a way better than Chloe did. Like, and she was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna put my big girl pants up and I'm just gonna try and learn about this world. And yeah, it was like, yeah, she's so sweet.
Will was basically Jace 2.0, which I kind of feel is a bit lazy writing, even though I like both Will and Jace. I mean, there's another Will and Jace like character in a later series, just saying. So be prepared for Will and Jace 3.0, but not as bad. I'm late. I did not realise this was happening today because time means nothing. I mean, it's also partly my fault because I kind of forgot to tweet about it and put it in the Discord until today. So I apologise, but I'm really glad that some of you are here. Waiting for Clockwork Prince the first time around was awful. I just went straight in and binged this series. Like, I think I read all 3 in the space of like 2 months or something the first time. So I did not have to wait. Liked how there was a commentary on women's roles and how Jessamine wanted to be a stereotypical woman of that time rather than a Shadowhunter woman, and seeing her thoughts around this. Yes, this is one of the things I wanted to talk about because I actually don't like Jessamine in this first
I
book
hate her
at all. But it's really weird how she's grown up. Like, she's got this mindset that she doesn't want to be a Shadowhunter. Women shouldn't be going out and fighting. She doesn't like how Charlotte does that. And it's really weird considering she's grown up around Charlotte, who is literally like, her parents were Shadowhunters, and I get why she might not want to go out and fight because her parents, you know, died. But also, come on, like, you've literally grown up with the best female role model, and you've not taken any of that in.
It seems very lazy. She very much wants like people to do things for her, and it seems to me like she sees the role of being a woman, as just to be like, and she didn't just want to be like a lady. She wants to be a lady of society, though, not like a lady that can graft and like looks after her husband. She wants one of those ladies of society that doesn't do anything other than shopping and stuff, and that the whole mindset. I wanted to yeet her.
I wasn't sure how old she was meant to be compared to.
I think she's supposed to be around 16, 17. I think she's 17 because I think when her and Tessa are talking, she mentions about she'll soon be able to like move out, but she can't do it on her own. So her and Tessa could be her cousin from America, and they could like meet as sisters until she sets her sights on Tessa's brother.
And like that whole thing that she just popped into her head after she'd been very sort of like standoffish with her, and she hadn't been the nicest with her.
She just wanted to use Tessa for her own gain.
And then obviously she's like, "Oh, absolutely not! Your brother's here." I'm like, oh.
It's like, oh, I don't need you anymore. I'm gonna nurse him back to health. He's gonna fall in love with me, and we're gonna get married. See ya. Like,
that whole thing was like, she's deluded. Absolutely deluded.
But yeah, it's so weird how like she's grown up with that mindset, and then like Charlotte's right there.
She's just not the nicest person to Charlotte either. It's like
No,
I would, if I'd have had her as a role model, I'd have been like, Jesus fucking Christ, you are like a badass.
Queen.
Yeah,
Queen.
you know,
Charlotte is amazing. I
she
absolutely
looks
love
after her
Charlotte.
husband, and I like the subtle rep because clearly her husband has got some kind of is on the
Henry
spectrum
is
at some point,
adorable.
and
I
you
absolutely
know,
love him and his inventions, and how he's just so confident every single time. I think
it's
I've got
gonna
it this
work.
time,
Yeah, it's
and then
gonna.
it doesn't, and I'm like, Henry,
But
please.
it does give me very much on the spectrum vibes, but it's not totally said outright. But the fact that people don't, although people are like, "Oh my God, Henry's invention again," is because of the fact that they keep blowing up, not because of how he is, and that she just looks after him. It's not he's not made to feel bad for how he is. They accept him for how he is. And there's no judgment on that. It's just like, please stop blowing shit up, and please, like, we want an invention to actually work. Please, it's that side of things. Everyone's like, oh my God, Henry.
But they never try and like tear him down when something doesn't.
No.
Well, they don't. The rest of the clave make comments,
Oh,
but
they can
you
get
know
anything.
they also. But can we appreciate when Charlotte and Henry go to Mortmain to try and get some information about Tessa's brother, and she just proper puts her foot down, is like, give me the information, and I'm like, yes, yes. I love Charlotte. I could like just gush about Charlotte all day.
She's great.
Jessamine is basically Rosalie from Twilight. Oh my god, she is.
Oh my
I
God,
can't
I did not think
unsee
about
that
that.
now.
Oh
I hadn't
God,
even hadn't crossed my mind.
absolutely not. They can both get in the bin.
It felt like Tessa, while she was still shocked by this world, it didn't feel like she complained or was as whining as much as Clary, and she also learns about the world and takes her time. Yeah, she specifically goes out of her way to try and learn and like know what's going on, and tries to get involved and like asks what she can do. She doesn't just sneak off and do the wrong thing and have people chasing after her. Lucky you not having to wait. Yeah.
Just a
Yeah,
question. Do you know? We might not have got to this bit yet, but do you know how people are saying? Some people have said, "Oh, they don't like this series because of the love triangle." That isn't really a triangle.
My shipping heart says it's a triangle, okay? Let me
I think
have
did
my
they
little
already ask you
thoughts.
about this? Is it Jem and Will and Tessa?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't
it is
You
a
remember
kind of
if
see
triangle.
you kind of see it in this book.
Yeah, you do
You can
kind of
see
see
they're
it.
both pining after her, but also those two. Like, I know I shouldn't want it, but I do.
I
Oh,
agree.
Will
It's
and
a
Jem.
triangle. It's a triangle.
Yes, it is a
So that's where
triangle.
you get the triangle bit, Will and Jem.
Yeah, but no, officially canon, it is a triangle V, like a V, not a triangle. But
Oh right, yeah.
I think it's done well. Some people disagree, but I think
In
it's
this
done
book
well.
so far, it kind of is, but
It's in this one. It's sort of like testing the waters with it.
yeah, I don't
It's
know
not
how I'm gonna
rushing
feel if
it.
it goes more than that. If she starts playing both off against each other or whatever, or like dipping between them, I don't know if I'm
I'm
gonna
just
like
keeping
that.
my face neutral.
No,
I'm
I'm
not
just
going
like,
to say anything.
I don't know if I'm gonna like that. But also, um, doesn't it hint in previous books that there was a Will and Magnus thing?
No, I don't. No, I think it's mentioned about Will, but it's more because like Will and Magnus, like you see at the end of this book, Will goes to Magnus. It's it's one of those things that Will and Magnus. It's a rumor.
Ah.
I think Magnus does address that in one of the more. I was about to say City of books, but more Instruments books. Like Will was never like that with him.
I thought it was like might have been a bit of a fling, but not like an in love like Alec. Not an in love situation like
You're
Alec,
just
but it might
thinking
have
of
been a bit of a
spoiler
fling.
alert, aren't you now? With Alex?
Ah!
Didn't like Jessamine character, but I could kind of understand that she didn't want this life, but that she was kind of forced into it. But yeah, she was kind of that character. Yeah,
There had to be an annoying one, didn't there?
yeah.
There always has to be an annoying one.
There always
Charlotte was a boss. I love her and Henry so much. They are relationship goals. This comment, literally just this comment.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's worrying me is when Charlotte mentioned like the Lightwoods taking over the institution, when they were talking about that, and that makes me feel a bit icky if that's the way that like the actual Lightwoods do end up where they are, is like at the downfall of those two, because that will hurt me. That's gonna hurt me a
Again,
lot.
keeping my face neutral and not saying anything.
That is gonna hurt me.
I'm just loving the series.
I am gonna guess that this little square is a heart emoji, or like a heart eyes emoji, because that is the only reaction to Henry, because he is such a cinnamon roll. If ever you have a prompt in a readathon, read a book with a cinnamon roll character. This.
Absolutely.
I love the way Tessa and Will meet, because it proved just how strong Tessa is. The first time I read this, I reread that part over and over again. Yes, and the fact he's literally just like, you hit me. I just love how they meet, and his humour is my favourite thing about him. Like, it's a very Herondale trait, which if I had read this series before the Mortal Instruments, I would have then read Jace and been like, he's far too much like Will, but he's a Wayland. I would have been questioning that in particular. But yeah, I love how Tessa and Will meet. Like, she's just so much better than Clary as a character.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, was I alone in thinking that Charlotte and Henry's relationship kind of mirrored that of Izzy and Simon's? I've never thought about it, but now you say it, it kind of is. Like, a really strong, independent woman and a cute, adorable, nerdy cinnamon roll.
Oh my god!
Simon is one of my favorites.
Simon doesn't invent things, but he's a
big
cinnamon
nerd.
roll. He's a massive nerd.
And he is very much the kind of person that would make mistakes and, you know, get himself into stupid situations.
Well, I mean, he does in the first 5 books.
Exactly. So that's his. He doesn't make inventions, but he does get himself in a stupid situation.
So yeah, I've never thought about it, but I'm really glad you said that, because now, yes, I can see it. Moment Jessie appeared on page, that was the first thing I thought of. I don't know how I'm only ever going to picture her as Nikki Reed now when I read it. She's just Rosalie. What I find really funny as well is the rivalry between the Lightwoods and Will. Oh, yes. I absolutely love their rivalry. Especially like, I think it's Gabriel and Will having that little like standoff, and Gabriel being all superior because it's like, I'm already 18. It's like, you're not 18 yet, you're still a child, go away. And then his dad just being like, are you going to stand out there with the children, or are you going to come in? And it's like, yeah, I'm coming. It's like Gabriel just wants to be an adult, and like Will's just like, well, like I'm gonna go.
Just wants to be an adult.
And it's like, well, I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna spy on you from the ceiling. I love that bit where they're just like hiding in, was it a broom closet or something, and just using that room to like look in on the meeting. I'm just like, clever.
And that definitely sounds like something that like Clary and Jason that would do.
Yeah.
And is it like if Alec was like, I am the adult in this group of people.
Definitely. Tessa's more likable if she's not reckless like Clary. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And polyamory for the win. Yes. Yes. This is what I want. I'm sure there is a fan fiction out there. I am going to find it, because I need it to be like canon in my brain, even if it ain't canon in the books. It was also so interesting seeing a different side to Camille. Yes. We saw Camille in this a lot earlier, being a bit vulnerable as well, which
that was
Camille can be vulnerable.
But I think even though in the Mortal Instruments she did sort of like play Alec with letting her go and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
um, like you did still, I still saw a little bit of that in her, because she could have just killed, like, but she didn't. So
Yeah.
like subtle things that she did, she might have teased him a lot and like tried to wind him up, but you could tell that like her heart isn't really in the whole, you know, being a bitch thing.
Um, I think with Camille though, it's very much in this. She is scared. She's not in More Instruments with that whole thing with Alec. She never really seems that scared. It seems more like an act. But in this, she seems genuinely scared of De Quincy.
Mhm.
Like we properly see her vulnerable.
Can we not talk about that?
About what? No, let's. It's a live show. Let's talk about it.
I don't like it.
What?
Turn the fucking brother against her. Why? Why would you do that to a girl?
Um,
Like, I genuinely
did
didn't see that coming. I'm
did
such
you
an absolute
not?
pleb. No, I normally see shit like that coming, and I'm just like, no, no, that's fine. Like, who's? And then it was just dropped on you. And I was like, oh, fuck my face.
See, the first time I read it, the moment Nathaniel was taken back to the Institute, it seemed too convenient that he was back with them and it was too early in the book. Like, I wrote down whereabouts it was. Bear with. Oh, actually, it went that. It went. Okay, it was like. It wasn't that early in the book at all.
Oh.
That was where you actually do see the betrayal. It's page 408 is where you actually see the betrayal. But it just didn't. The moment he was taken back to the Institute, just something wasn't adding up for me. And I was like,
Maybe I just didn't want it to be a thing. Maybe I wanted the whole siblings against the bad guys to be a thing. And that like after she was like, she let the sisters take her and use her, and because she wanted to find out where he was, and I wanted it to be like they're like, even though it couldn't have been like a totally happy ending, like their mini happy ending sort of thing, that they were filing together like to fight the evil. I wanted that, but Cassie broke me. So
first time I read it, I was shook. Yeah, see, I don't usually see things like that coming, so I don't know what made me see it coming this time. But maybe it's just like I've read so many YA books where siblings betray each other that I'm just like so desensitized to it now. I just always expect the worst of the sibling.
yeah, I should have really thought like, what is the YA trope with siblings? Oh, they stab each other in the back. Let's just go with that instead of happy siblings. But this bitch didn't.
Um, I'm going to cover my face because I want to hear some theories about why Tessa doesn't have a demon mark.
Absolutely no clue. I was like, is it glamoured by someone? Like how Magnus took Clary's memory. Is it glamoured like from people? See, I don't fucking know.
Well, that makes my life a bit easier because I don't have to hide my face because you've got no theories whatsoever.
But she should. She should. When Magnus was like, "Yeah, you are, you are a warlock," so effectively, like, why? I don't understand. Like, is there any way of creating without the mark? With even if a mum was human or one of her parents were human, and one was a shadow hunter or like a demon, I don't know how it works. Or what, I don't understand.
I can practically hear the gears turning in your
Yeah,
brain,
yeah.
which is hilarious because gears.
It's just like there's no combination of people that would mean that like she there has to be a certain combination of people for her to be how she is. So that combination of creatures or people, um, created with a mark, unless it's been burnt off her as a child or something. I don't know if it's
Well,
possible.
the marks aren't like necessarily like a scar or something. Like Magnus has cat eyes. Like is it Ragnar is green? Like Katrina is blue. Like it's that sort of mark. It's not like a birthmark or something. Like a demon mark is something very distinguishable that they are a warlock.
No, she doesn't. For some reason, I thought she had grey hair then, but she don't, does she? Why am I thinking of something else? I don't understand.
Jem has silver hair.
Right, okay, I knew silver hair was mentioned, or grey hair was mentioned. So what? Yeah, we already know what he is. I don't understand. Is her mark hidden?
Well, Lottie doesn't think Tessa's actually a warlock. She's something else.
But then what would she
Maybe
be?
her mother's side purified her in some way. Actually can't remember about Tessa's warlock mark, so I'm really looking forward to the reveal.
Yeah, I forgot
what she is though. I ain't got a clue. I do very much remember.
Well, probably when I get to it, I'll probably be like.
I really want to go back and read the description of what she looks like, because I feel like I might have missed something.
If you look on the cover of Clockwork Princess, like she is the character that's on Clockwork Princess.
Where are you, Clockwork Princess? Oh, she's up there. Right, let me get her on Amazon, because I can't be asked standing up to. You can click continue.
I'll do the comments while you're googling. The Nathaniel story made me feel so much for Tessa. I really didn't want to believe he'd do that to her. She was just so happy to have him back, and the fact that then the whole thing with the chocolates and her aunt, he had specifically sent chocolates knowing that Tessa wouldn't eat them, and it's just like, so not only did he betray Tessa, like he betrayed her aunt as well and was the reason she died, and it was like, oh, just right in the heart right there. Like, how dare you?
She's got a shiny clavicle. I don't know.
For that reason, can we talk about the parapetite bond and the way so many people have taken it to equating it to incest? Yes, because it's not. Like, you're not related. You just have a mark. Like, they literally say it's like the marriage rune, but it's not for marriage.
Yeah.
It's essentially a marriage rune, but it's for fighting, not love. It's nothing to do with being brothers and sisters. Like, it just really frustrates me. Like, obviously, some siblings can be parapetite. Like the only rule is that you can't be parapetite and fall in love. That is the only rule for parapetite. So it really annoys me when people try and say, oh, it's incest. No, it isn't. They're not related. It doesn't suddenly mean that they're related. It just means they've got a fighting bond to make them better warriors. Oh, yeah, I could rant about that for ages, Lisa, like, honestly. If it ever ends up on my For You page, I'm going to be very annoyed.
I can't see anything on that cover that would indicate, unless I'm being blind. Is there something on the cover now? You're going to have me staring at this cover.
No, you said you wanted to know what she looked like, so I said, well,
oh, right. No, I thought you were telling me to look at the cover, thinking
no, because
on the cover that would hint at what a warlock mark is. So I'm looking at her cover, thinking, where's this fucking warlock mark? And like, I'm not even finding anything.
Is her power her mark? Is that a thing? I mean, I'm not going to answer any questions, just so you know. But I'll read them out. I know why, but I can only give very vague comments. Yeah, same. Just keep reading the series. Answers will happen.
Find out in this one.
The brutality of Nate betraying the only adult left who cared about them. I know.
Brutal.
Hurts. It really hurts. Again, I felt like the way Claire wrote the Tessa Nathaniel was so much better than the Clary Sebastian storyline. Yes. And it's also the fact that with Sebastian, you expect Sebastian to betray her because he's been doing it all this time. He's not going to change. And also, he has demon blood. But with Tessa and Nathaniel, they're just an ordinary brother and sister. He's gone off to London to do a job. She's followed him. She's betrayed by him, and it hurts. But it's definitely written better because you're not supposed to see it coming. I just have trust issues, clearly. Was it ever explained? Not at this point. All I can say is in a later book, yes. But at this point, no. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I can say. I love Shadowhunters, so I don't get why I ended up on the wrong side, but I'm ready to get off now. Yeah, I do not blame you. I hope you get to the right side of Shadowhunters TikTok soon. So I'm just looking at my notes. No, not in this series. Not in this series. You don't find out about that in this series.
Oh, I think I might have read the one where you find out about that.
Without spoilers, keep reading the series to find out more about Parabatai. Literally this.
Yeah.
You do get answers eventually, but they're not really relevant right now because, yeah. But anyway, I'm just having a look, see what... No, this isn't really like anything to comment on, but there was a quote that I absolutely love that Tessa says, and it's, "One must always be careful of books and what is inside them, for words have the power to change us." And I'm just like... That. Tessa and Will being little bookworms is like my favourite thing.
I love how she was just in the library all the time, sort of like squirreling away, looking at the codex. Yeah.
Like literally all of us. Maybe that's why we love Tessa so much, because she's literally us. And also she's clever. Can we appreciate how clever she is in that end scene with Mortmain when she makes him think that she's killed herself?
Yes.
Genius.
That I was shook at. I was like, does she know that she has some kind of warlock power that can bring her back to life? I don't understand why she's done this. Like, I thought she was just gonna tease. Like, I didn't think she was actually gonna go through with it. And I was just like, fuck. She did that.
Literally the first time I was like, this is the first book in a trilogy. She can't do this. She can't actually do this. And she didn't. But she remembered, and like, she is a genius. Yes, I love that quote. Tessa is literally me if I was Victorian. Love that quote too. I also love the whole Blackfriars Bridge scene before the Clockwork creatures come. When they're just having that moment talking on Blackfriars Bridge. I've actually been to Blackfriars Bridge and stood on that spot just to like experience what they would have been looking at. And London's pretty from Blackfriars Bridge. If you're ever in London and have some time to go there, go stand on the bridge, because the bridge itself is nothing pretty, but the view from it is very nice. I'm just trying to think what other can we just appreciate Will's hatred of ducks? It's just such a random little tidbit of information about him and his obsession with demon pox. His obsession with demon pox, and Jem's like, demon pox isn't a real thing, Will, and he's just so done. You can tell this is a conversation they've had so many times, and he's just so done with Will.
Can we just talk about how okay Jem is with this situation as well? Like, it just deals with it, doesn't it? It could be like, oh, woe is me, I could die at any moment, and, you know.
I mean, I feel like the reason like he's probably like that is because of literally him sitting through his own torture and his parents' murders at the hands of a demon. So now he's like, well, we've just got to get on with it, haven't we? Let's just deal with what life's handed to us. And he's just living his life as best as he can. And I'm just like,
but
yes,
this is making me feel really, really horrible, because I feel like it's setting me up. I'm just gonna, in my head, I'm gonna be like, at the end of this series, he's gonna be dead.
He's so bad. He's gonna be dead.
Because Don't tell me that you've got a condition that can't be cured, that you're slowly dying, and then have me expected to live. So I'm trying not to get too attached to him.
I just absolutely love him so
Sick of books
much.
that do this to me.
But
Make me get attached to characters and kill them off. So I'm not getting attached to Jem.
but also like him just like walking up to Tessa and just like kissing her hand, and I was just like,
Oh,
stop it, please. My
That is
heart
cute.
can't take this. Like
that is
my heart
cute.
cannot take this. I love the first time Jem and Tessa meet. So iconic. Yes. Isn't that her just like walking into his room while he's playing violin? I'm just like,
Yeah.
yes. In her nightgown. Very scandalous at the time.
I know.
Very
Scandalous.
scandalous.
But the contrast between her and Jem meeting and her and Will meeting is also like it is
So
basically like,
different.
yeah, and their personalities is like Will is just an absolute mess and Jem is like generally the calmer one, and it reflects in the way they actually meet, the situations that they meet in. He's like calmly playing the violin and she just wanders upon him in a nightgown.
I also realised I've missed some comments, so I'm just going to quickly do them. Every time I go past Blackfriars Bridge, I get emotional. Same. To me, there was just so much great balance in this book between the characters, the descriptions, the dialogue, everything. Yes. Will's hatred of ducks is like Anakin's hatred of sand. Yes. I love that. I was ready to talk about ducks. I love the ongoing duck joke between the different series. Yeah, because it's mentioned, that whole duck thing is mentioned in one of the TMI books. I think like Jace makes a comment about ducks, and it's just like, it's definitely a Herondale thing.
I totally missed that. I need to go and find that.
The humour was so good. And like,
Yeah.
Tessa and Will's banter, the way they just bounce off each other with their sarcasm is just, I feel like Tessa really comes out of her shell around Will and is more herself and less worrying about how, oh, this isn't proper. Like, and she's just herself and
Yeah.
lets herself be herself, if that makes sense.
I like that about her, yeah.
Jem will be fun. You have such a way with words, like. I can live in hope.
This is the one time I want something to conveniently happen that means that Jem is cured at the last second.
Good luck trying not to get attached to Jem. He's impossible not to love. Yes, very true. Cassie does such a good job leaving Easter eggs between her series. Yeah, even little things like that you don't even register it when you read it in More Instruments. It's just a passing comment about ducks, but then you read this and you're like, hang on a sec, ducks? I absolutely love it. I just looked at one of my notes and I'm like, I don't want to talk about that yet because it makes me cry. De Quincey, he makes a very good point, and I need to go to the page because he really makes a good point, and I hate how much. When Benedict's saying about, after all we've done for you, after we passed the Accords into law, we've tried to make you equal to ourselves, and De Quincey's like, equal? Like, even in the Mortal Instruments, the Downworlders are not seen as equals to the Shadowhunters. The Shadowhunters always think they're above the Downworlders. Like, there's the odd few, like in this series, there's obviously Will and Jem and Charlotte and that who don't see themselves as above the Downworlders. And in the TMI series, obviously Jace, Simon, Jace, the Lightwoods in general, all that, they don't see themselves above. But there's literally about 90% of the Shadowhunters are like, we're better than the Downworlders. And it doesn't change. It's like it in this. And De Quincey has a very good point in that. Like, they can try and like act like they're like equal, but they're not.
No.
The Shadowhunters are always going to think they're better because they have
Because they've got an
angel blood.
angel blood.
Hey.
Great minds think alike. Up there for thinking, down there for dancing.
I also love going back to Charlotte, aka the Queen, how she's so much like a mother figure to them all, yet she I believe, isn't that much older than all of them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's like 21.
Yeah.
Definitely the first time I read it, I was like, oh, she's definitely like 30. Like,
Yeah, because that's her
like very much,
character is so much maturer than the rest of them. But obviously, it's probably because she's had this like responsibility thrust upon her, and she wants to prove herself as a woman in Victorian times, especially when like she's constantly put down by like Benedict and the others of the Clave. I love Charlotte. Jem is husband material, but Will was like the male equivalent of mistress material. Yes. This is so true.
You're away with words, Lotte.
Shadowhunters think they're above everyone. They think downworlders are less than regular people. And regular people are idiots. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it doesn't change, and you really see that between like there's like a century passed between this and the More Instruments, and nothing has changed, and they're still trying to act like the saviors because yes, but we passed the Accords, and it's like, yeah, but that doesn't really mean anything.
People don't like sticking to them, clearly.
Yeah.
These Accords are also amazing.
Lottie is winning with this comment. I feel like I've got to the point of my notes where I've got to talk about it. Thomas. I can see she's... I actually forgot it happened in this book. I forgot it happened in this book. I was reading, and I will say right now, the first blue tab, blue means sad or crying, was here, and it's because it's the first moment Thomas is mentioned, and I just started crying because I was like, he dies later in this series, and was like, I'm not going to be able to make a note on this because I don't want to spoil anything, and then got later on in the book and I was like, oh no, it's this book. I just had a moment of realization that I can talk about it on this live show because it's this book. Like, it's all very sad about Agatha, but Thomas, we didn't really see Agatha much, but we did Thomas. Thomas was adorable. And
Thomas was
sad.
just the side character that you fell in love with, that was just super sweet, and that was just like, it was like the unofficial sidekick.
Yeah.
I was expecting Cassie Clare to do, again, I don't like convenient plot points, but I was hoping that this is a moment where there's something would happen, and Thomas is not really dead. He's okay. And the pure emotion of Will at that point, like,
I know.
just, I was sitting there like,
so sad.
He doesn't like showing his emotions, but he just couldn't help it. Like, yes.
Thomas was another cinnamon roll. He was adorable.
He couldn't help it. He was just like, do you know what? I'm just gonna, like, oh.
Like, I'm full of wisdom, me. Not to be a hater, but I couldn't be sad about it because I didn't have enough time to get attached to him. That's fair. I think because I've read it so many times now, my brain is constantly like, but it's Thomas. It's Thomas. Plus, I cry at everything, Lottie. I cry at everything. So it's not a shock that I get all cut up about Thomas's death in this book. But I only really have one more comment. And it's, were you shocked that the Magister wasn't De Quincey?
As it got nearer the end, no. But but earlier on, I was convinced it was him.
She did a very good job of setting it up that it was him. So when it wasn't the first time around, I was like, plot twist.
Mortmain was very, very convincing in that first conversation, being like, well, he decided he didn't want to work for me, so what can I do? And it's like, okay. But then it just seemed too convenient later on, but it took a while to get to that point. It just seemed too convenient too early on in the book that they'd figured out, it's De Quincey, we already know who it is. And it's like, do you? Is it?
I thought if there was something that was gonna be like a plot twist, I thought it might have been like it did just there was a red herring and it was someone else that was like I didn't think it was gonna be Mormon. I didn't that didn't twig until like I said things started happening. I was like, well, like that was too easy. Like that I don't understand why that's and yeah. But the whole reveal when you listen to it and he's just really creepy and like you can hear like the change in his voice from being like this human that just was interested in the down world and fantastical things to like the change in the voice
To
to go
what,
from
Lisa?
I just love it when you listen to it and like you hear like the slight change in the voice and you can just imagine what the face looks like. It's a typical villain thing where they're like
Yeah.
it's that moment where you're like, oh, it was at that moment they realized they done fucked up.
When she did this, I thought, oh, we're taking the story that way. It's not okay. I thought it would have been too convenient if De Quincey was the Magister, but I wasn't expecting Mortmain. Yeah, this was my exact thoughts the first time I read it. I thought it either wasn't going to be him and someone completely different, or he was working with someone.
Yeah.
As soon as we introduced to Mortmain, I remembered it was him. Yeah, I think it's different when you're rereading it. But it'd been a while since I reread it, so I was like, oh, I can't remember. But then, like, Mortmain's name was mentioned. I was like, wait, isn't he the Magister? And it just like clicked into place. But then I couldn't quite remember exactly how it got to finding out that it wasn't De Quincey until like I got nearer to that point in the book. But yeah, the Clockwork creatures hurting Jem, not okay.
I don't understand. What the fuck?
Was not okay with that, especially when they like, you know, come up to them on Blackfriars Bridge. Like, that is his spot. Don't take that from him. But yeah, I don't really have any other comments because there's just so much to talk about in this book, and like I never know where to start and where to stop. Kind of love the Clockwork things because it reminds me of an episode of Doctor Who, The Girl in the Fireplace.
Oh my god, yes.
Yep.
What an
I've
episode.
just been sat on a live with a fucking plate.
Brilliant.
I mean, I didn't notice that, and I wouldn't have noticed that if you hadn't pointed it out.
Alright, okay, so it's not there.
But yeah, it definitely reminds me of that episode.
Brilliant.
We talked about Camille. Have you got anything to add about Camille? Share.
We said she was done.
Yeah, Lisa, what did you have to say?
I thought you were talking to yourself then.
Yeah,
Realised.
I realised.
No, Lisa the cat, not Lisa me.
Yeah, it is one of my favourite episodes. It's not quite my favourite episode. I think my favourite episode is one of the Weeping Angel ones, but it's a very good episode.
I like the one where they're
I'm a
in the
sucker.
car and they're going down and down and down and down with the little cat family.
I've never seen this in my life, so I have no idea what you're
And
talking
now
about.
this is turning into like Doctor Who fanning. Like,
You stress me out that you haven't watched it, Lisa.
Oh, well, we were doing the
You need to watch
podcast
it.
yesterday, and Jem found out that I've never seen Hot Fuzz and I've never watched The Lord of the Rings. I'm
How
sorry.
dare you?
oh my god, Hot Fuzz is like me and my brother like #1 favourite film. Like we quote each other like, oh, just
I can't say it's for the greater good without going greater good.
great good. I love it. Yeah.
Blasphemy, Lisa.
Oh my god, am I the only person in the world who's not seen this?
Oh my god, it's a comedy classic.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
right.
So basically, we were, long story short, we were just saying how like it's nice to see like her vulnerable in this because it seems more of an act in More Instruments, and But in this one, she seems genuinely terrified of De Quincey and what he can do, especially when you find out like her background and like her past with like the werewolf that she was in love with. So yeah, very vulnerable. You actually feel for her a bit in this one.
Yeah.
And then you remember what she's like in Mortal Instruments, and you're like,
Yeah.
no, not so much.
And I remember
What
how
happened
we
to
left.
her in that century?
And I remember how we left Malik, and I'm like, nope. Nope. I don't like him.
But I don't have any other comments. Do either of you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I want to go and read this.
I just love Will, Tessa, Jen. Just love this series, and I'm so excited for the next book. And the next book,
so
I'm
much.
actually going to do some proper tabbing, some proper notes, so that next time I'm not just sort of like, ah.
Look, Gem's on the cover.
You've got different ones to us.
Yeah. Well, we've got Angel. She's holding up Prince.
Yeah, but she's got the newer ones.
The newer spines.
Because mine are all these covers.
Yeah, same.
Are they the old ones or the new ones?
These are the older ones.
And I've got the old ones of
different
the
span.
I used to have a copy of City of Bones that had like a face on it. It was like black.
Oh.
I'd never seen it before. Like, I don't know where I got it from.
Lucy, wake up.
I just like Camille because she's a big, sexy vampire lady. I mean, I feel that, like, I feel that. Yeah, I hated feeling for Camille. Yeah, it's like you have the sympathy for her and then you remember who she is. Really looking forward to the next book. I can't remember much, so I'm excited. Can't wait to continue. Do we have a proposed date for the next live show? I'm hoping, if everyone's free, maybe the first weekend of August. Maybe the second weekend at latest. I don't want to leave it as late in the month. To be fair, the only reason it was this late in the month this time was because we had Yauk and then other stuff in our personal lives kept cropping up. So hopefully it'll be within the first 2 weeks of August for Clockwork Prince, because I'm going to be starting it in the next few days. But it will only take me like a day to read it. Halfway through Clockwork Prince, I'm really loving it. I did look at your little spoiler comment, Lottie, in the Discord, because I was like, oh, I need to know what she says. But if you haven't read Clockwork Prince, don't click on the spoiler thing.
Is there a Discord for this?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Did I not send you? I thought I'd sent you the link.
I didn't take part in. I didn't do Mortal Instruments. I already read it, and I said I would pick back up with you guys at this, but I didn't realise there was a Discord. So now I'm just like, oh, I thought you were talking about like a Patreon or something. What is
no, I will send you an invite to the Discord. But yes, I understand this 100%, Lottie. Like, yes. I really want the new ones with the beautiful connecting spines. See, I kind of do, but at the same, because the Mortal Instruments ones, I've got the ones where the spines look more like the book Lisa's got, but it's not a blue box with the name on. Yeah, but it's still the matching ones.
Mine aren't those ones.
I like these. I really like these, and I can't bring myself to replace them.
The only annoying thing about my Mortal Instruments series is that I've got 1 to 4 in small, and then 5 is like a big one.
Oh like, no! How?
And the same with my Dark Artifices one. There's like big, small, big, and I'm like,
oh, see, my Dark Artifice paperbacks, I do actually want to replace to this size because I've got the big paperbacks of all 3.
I hate the big ones. They're horrible.
Yeah, but they are quite floppy, which is quite nice to read.
Mine is signed by Cassandra Clare. I won it on a giveaway that she did, and it's signed. Even if, and I'm sorry, don't come at me, her signature is shite. It is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't get it.
It's just C squiggle, C squiggle.
Yeah, anyone could do that. Like a 5-year-old could do that.
So yeah, I've not got anything else to say, so I think we leave it there for today. I think this might be the shortest live show yet, but I can probably guarantee that the next one will not be
I
because
have
there is
nerds.
a lot. There's going to be a lot more to talk about on the next
Just
book.
wanted to share that with you all.
And hopefully we'll have Liv with us next time as well.
Yes.
If she's read the book.
Yeah.
If she's
I mean, she's read them before, multiple
She has
times.
them too.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you both for joining me and talking about it. And Lisa for sharing theories that aren't actually theories because you don't know. Which makes my life easier because I don't have to hide my face.
I have
while
a
you're
theory
saying
that
them.
Jem and Tess are going to end up together and Will's going to be heartbroken. That's my theory.
I've got a theory. It could be funny. Anyway, on that note, we'll see you all on the next live show. Thank you for joining.
Peace
Bye.
out, people.